Module 11, Chapter 11, Flashcards. An attempt to increase the number of creative solutions, alternatives to problems by focusing on idea generation rather than evaluation. Number 1. An attempt to increase the number of creative solutions, alternatives to problems by focusing on idea generation rather than evaluation. That is brainstorming. The process of developing a commitment to some course of action. Number 2. The process of developing a commitment to some course of action. That is decision making. Number 3. Aspects of the presentation of information about a problem that are assumed by decision makers. Aspects of the presentation of information about a problem that are assumed by decision makers. That is framing. Number 4. A decision strategy that relies on limited information and that reflects time constraints and political considerations. A decision strategy that relies on limited information and that reflects time constraints and political considerations. That is bounded rationality. Number 5. A perceived gap between an existing state and a desired state. A perceived gap between an existing state and a desired state. That is a problem. Number 6. The tendency for groups to make riskier decisions than the average risk initially advocated by their individual members. The tendency for groups to make riskier decisions than the average risk initially advocated by their individual members. That is risky shift. Number 7. The tendency to review the decision-making process to find what was done right or wrong. Number 7. The tendency to review the decision-making process to find what was done right or wrong. That is hindsight. A structured group decision-making technique in which ideas are generated without group interaction and then systematically evaluated by the group. Number 8. A structured group decision-making technique in which ideas are generated without group interaction and then systematically evaluated by the group. That is nominal group technique. Number 9. A problem for which the existing state is clear, the desired state is clear, and how to get from one state to the other is fairly obvious. Number 9. A problem for which the existing state is clear and the desired state is clear, and how to get from one state to another is fairly obvious, is called well-structured problem. Establishing an equal level of acceptability for a problem to a problem and then screening solutions from one that exceeds this level is found. Number 10. Establishing an adequate level of acceptability for a solution to a problem and then screening solutions until one that exceeds this level is found. That is satisficing. Number 11. A standardized way of solving a problem. That is a program. Number 12. The inadequate adjustment of subsequent estimates from an initial estimate that serves as an anchor. Number 12. The inadequate adjustment of subsequent estimates from an initial estimate that serves as an anchor. That is, anchoring effect. Anchoring effect. Number 13. A problem for which the existing and desired states are unclear and the method of getting to the desired state is unknown. A problem for which the existing and desired states are unclear and the method of getting to the desired state is unknown. That is, ill-structured problem. Ill-structured problem. Number 14. The tendency to seek out information that conforms to one's own definition of or solution to a problem. The tendency to seek out information that conforms to one's own definition of or solution to a problem. That is, confirmation bias. Confirmation bias. Number 15. The choice of the decision alternative with the greatest expected value. The choice of the decision alternative with the greatest expected value. That is maximization. Maximization. Number 16. The ability of group members to share the burden of the negative consequences of a poor decision. The ability of group members to share the burden of the negative consequences of a poor decision. That is diffusion of responsibility. Diffusion of responsibility. The use of computer-mediated technology to improve traditional brainstorming practices. Number 17. The use of computer-mediated technology to improve traditional brainstorming practices. That is, electronic brainstorming. Electronic brainstorming. Number 18. Tendencies to acquire and process information in an error-prone way. Tendencies to acquire and process information in an error-prone way. That is, cognitive biases. Cognitive biases. Number 19. The reception of more information than it is necessary to make effective decisions. Number 19. The reception of more information than is necessary to make effective decisions. That is, information overload. Information overload. Number 20. A decision strategy that is completely informed, perfectly logical, and oriented toward economic gain. A decision strategy that is completely informed, perfectly logical, and oriented toward economic gain. That is perfect rationality. Perfect rationality. Number 21. Permanent losses of resources incurred as the result of a decision. Permanent losses of resources incurred as the result of a decision. That is, sunk costs. Sunk costs. Number 22. The capacity for group pressure to damage the mental efficacy, reality testing, and moral judgment of decision-making groups. The capacity for group pressure to damage the mental efficiency, reality testing, and moral judgment of decision-making groups. That is, groupthink. Groupthink. Number 23. A person appointed to identify and challenge the weaknesses of a proposed plan or strategy. A person appointed to identify and challenge the weaknesses of a proposed plan or strategy. That is, the devil's advocate. The devil's advocate. Number 24. The tendency for groups to make less risky decisions than the average risk initially advocated by their individual members. The tendency for groups to make less risky decisions than the average risk initially advocated by their individual members. That is, conservative shift. Conservative shift. Number 25. The tendency to invest additional resources in an apparently failing course of action. The tendency to invest additional resources in an apparently failing course of action. That is, escalation of commitment. Escalation of commitment. A method of pooling a large number of experts' judgments by using a series of increasingly refined questionnaires. Number 26. A method of pooling a large number of expert judgments by using a series of increasingly refined questionnaires. That is Delphi technique. Delphi technique.